My relationship to training is a really weird one. I remember having a conversation in a Discord server once. We were talking about training, and I mentioned that a lot of my reason for training, or at least the person that I was talking to helped me realize this, that a lot of the reason for training was avoiding pain. I didn't want to end up physically disabled like I had seen people in my life be. And they introduced me then to like a few YouTube channels, and throughout time, so my training started as wanting to be like Scout from TF2, and I really enjoyed that. I wanted to have the mobility, the speed, the control over my body and my surroundings, because I didn't want to like look at a roof and I was like, I can reach that theoretically and then be stopped by my physical skills. I wanted to be able to use my body in a bunch of different ways. And so that came from a positive place, but over time, my motivation for training became shame. It became like shame-induced. Like, I am wrong or bad if I don't do it. And I lost my ability to be able to do it out of love, out of enjoyment. So obviously I'm out here again right now, and which is why I'm thinking about it, because sometimes I do get the positive impulse to train. And it's hard for me nowadays to do it without, or it's hard for me to do while being present in my body, being present in my mind, enjoying the fresh air, but honestly want to do that more. Part of that is accepting that, like, I haven't trained in a year in order to not continue to stress my nervous system through, doing things that are enforced by shame. But I have to realize that I really can't do the same things that I used to be able to do, and that makes me feel old when I'm 18, right? I feel like I can feel my lower back, I can feel how it's not stretched out, how it rounds immediately, how my coordination when I do, what are they called? Those like sit-up things where you have like the kettlebell over you and then you stand up. I can't remember what it's called. And when I do like deadlifts and stuff like that, my coordination is worse. When I just hang on a pull-up bar, I get so lightheaded that I can't see. And like these things have always been there, but I've never just been present enough to really feel them, and I've just been like, fuck you, push through it, do your reps, Worked out like six times a week, and never really allowed my body the chance to recover enough to not constantly be in pain. And so now I just have like a different kind of pain, which is pain in my wrists from overtraining and from sleeping really fucking weird. Pain in my ankle joints, I think from running without taking proper care of myself. Some pain in my knee when I run too. I didn't take care of my body when I was training, but at least I got some sort of masochistic satisfaction from beating myself up, because I could say that I did something hard, not knowing that I was disregarding my own humanity and harming myself. And God, not to mention all of the social systems that were involved in causing me to end up at such a point. People in my life in general, broader just masculinity things. I want to get into a point. I want to train again. I want to exercise again to feel better in my body, because I've also noticed just day and day I don't feel as good physically. I feel more lethargic. Yeah. that's just really, really hard for me to do. So I might even just have to do it whenever I feel the impulse to, and in places where no one can see me, because I used to be too embarrassed to train in public. Then, like, I really like training in public, or outdoors at the very least. And then I started just thinking about how people were perceiving me a lot. And I would push myself even harder, way beyond what I should, to be able to perform this idea of, like, I am a fit person. And try and, even though it really probably didn't even change anything, to try and gain whatever social currency comes from being someone viewed as fit or attractive or able-bodied. I stopped doing it for me. Not even to mention how self-destructive exercise could really have been for me. Sometimes it was just straight out self-harm. And not even talking about when I was like at kickboxing and I would internally be wanting to be hit, wanting to be like hurt. No, also going onto a punching bag and intentionally punching so hard that my hands would bleed profusely, you know? And it was in so many small ways where also I'll be running and my internal monologue would be so mean to me. Like, I would be so mean to myself to try and reinforce this identity of someone who exercised, someone who fit the standard. And God, I am tired of enacting that kind of violence to myself. I'm so tired.